If for some reason this is in Fishtown at all, someone please protect my shit. There are people down here protecting their businesses by just standing there and asking them to just stay away, and they have been. So I'd never say put yourself in harm's way or anything, but hey, sometimes you got to protect your business. Where's everyone going? Everyone's
come on, we out.
If for some reason this is in Fishtown at all, someone please protect my shit. There are people down here protecting their businesses by just standing there and asking them to just stay away, and they have been. So I'd never say put yourself in harm's way or anything, but hey, sometimes you got to protect your business. Where's everyone going? I don't know where everyone's everything's going right now. Wasn't working. Lucky brand. Five % battery.
Hey, bro, we out, bro.
Shut the fuck up!
In more than 20 states, the National Guard has been called in to help restore order. Nearly 17,000 guardsmen have been deployed.
He was innocent. He wasn't doing it. I mean, this makes no sense.
In Louisville, following the shooting death of a local business owner during protests, the city's police chief is out this morning after deputies involved in the shooting did not record body camera footage of the incident, violating department policy.
This type of institutional failure will not be tolerated.
Meanwhile, volunteers nationwide are rolling up their sleeves and pitching in to help clean up. At this Chicago shopping center, sweeping up debris and boarding up windows. Cleanup efforts also underway in New York City this week.
I worry for the city and I worry for people across the country.
At one point, the city's police chief taking a knee with protesters.
There is not a police officer over here that thinks Minnesota was justified. We stand with you.
And speaking of people coming in and helping and cleaning up, it's happening even as we speak. This very place where I just told you the window was broken, we've got people coming in, sweeping up, trying to clean up. There are so many people that care about these communities. They're coming out too. By the way, this curfew that was instituted for the first time last night was started at 11 o'clock here in New York City last night. Tonight it starts at 8 o'clock. We'll see if that makes a difference, Craig. I know it was a very, very difficult night where you are in Washington as well.
It was, and that curfew that you just mentioned there in New York City, Savannah, last night here in Washington, there was an 8 o'clock curfew, and by most accounts, it seemed to help a bit. Not as many skirmishes in and around the district as the night before. This morning, we're in Freedom Plaza. We're a few blocks away from Lafayette Square, where we were yesterday, just a few feet from the White House. Well, they've shut off Lafayette Square to pedestrian traffic after what we saw yesterday. They've also erected an 8 or 9 foot fence around much of the park area after that tear gas went off around 6:30. I was in the middle of it. What was striking is that, and I had just remarked to one of my producers, what was striking is that up until that point, protesters had been largely peaceful. They had even taken a knee on several occasions. They knew that the curfew was coming at 8. They thought they had another hour or so, and then all of a sudden at about 6:30, all hell broke loose. Park Police, Secret Service, they begin to advance on the group of demonstrators. First the flashbangs, then the tear gas, and everyone just started running for cover. It was quite strange. No one knew why it happened, and then roughly 30 minutes later, it became obvious. President Trump leaving the White House to make his way across the street to one of the city's most historic churches. Kristen Welker was also there. You were at the White House as the president walked across to St. John's Church.
I was, Craig, and it was remarkable. You could hear the flashbangs from inside the White House as they were going off. Now, look, this president has come under scrutiny for days for his response to this crisis. Some of his own allies saying that he hasn't done enough to unify the country. And now this morning there is intensifying criticism because of everything that Craig just laid out. The fact that authorities cleared that park of peaceful protesters with tear gas so that President Trump could visit that historic church here in Washington.
In the nation's capital, a stunning split screen. President Trump in the White House Rose Garden, breaking his relative silence after days of unrest following the death of George Floyd.
I am your president of law and order and an ally of all peaceful protesters.
But just minutes earlier in Lafayette Park, outside the White House, police firing tear gas and pepper spray at peaceful protesters, forcing them to disperse.
Using flashbangs in front of them and mounted police to clear what has been an entirely peaceful protest.
These images of a police officer striking a cameraman going viral. Then, in a surprise move, the president and his top advisors walked across the park to the historic St. John's Episcopal Church, where a fire was set during demonstrations Sunday night. The president holding up a Bible without any explanation.
Is that your Bible?
It's a Bible.
The Episcopal Bishop of D.C. blasting the president for what she called a photo op and saying she never gave him permission to be there.
He was using our church as a backdrop and the Bible as a prop in ways that I found to be deeply offensive.
The White House later tweeting out this video of the president's walk to the church, complete with dramatic music. Earlier, the president warning he's prepared to use the military in cities nationwide to stop riots if governors don't deploy their own National Guard to crack down. Hours earlier, the president lashed out at the nation's governors during a video conference, calling some of them weak and fools following days of unrest nationwide. In audio of the call obtained by NBC News, the president berated some governors for not calling in the National Guard.
No, but you're making a mistake because you're making yourself look like fools.
At least one governor, Democrat Jay Pritzker of Illinois, heard pushing back.
Speak up and say that I've been extraordinarily concerned about the rhetoric that's been used by you. It's been inflammatory. Okay, well, thank you very much, JB. I don't like your rhetoric much either.
What?
Now, multiple sources close to the White House tell us that President Trump's decision to go to that historic church was fueled in large part out of frustration, including by headlines that during Friday night's protest, the Secret Service had to usher him into that bunker underneath the White House. And Craig, we are told that it was the president's decision alone to go to that church. He wanted that shot, holding up that Bible. Now, White House officials, when we reached out to the White House, say those protesters were given 3 warnings that they needed to clear out. But we spoke to a number of protesters who told us they never heard those warnings.
And I was one of the folks there who didn't hear that warning as well. Kristen Welker, thank you. The president, as Kristen just pointed out, coming under a fair amount of criticism. One of the loudest critics in the past 12 hours or so has been the bishop who oversees that historic church. Again, St. John's Church, known as the Church of Presidents. I had an opportunity to speak with the bishop who oversees it just a few minutes ago.
Well, consider the context. After making a highly charged, emotional speech to the nation where he threatened military force, his officials cleared peaceful protests with tear gas and horses and walked onto the courtyard of St. John's Church and held up a Bible as if it were a prop or an extension of his military and authoritarian position, and stood in front of our building as if it were a backdrop for his agenda. And that was where, that was the offense that I was speaking to. I also was deeply disappointed that he did not take the opportunity. He didn't come to church to pray. He didn't come to church to offer condolences to those who are grieving. He didn't come to commit to healing our nation, all the things that we would expect and long for from the highest leader in the land.
Bishop, is he a frequent worshiper at that church? Does he attend regularly?
No, never. The only time that President Trump has been at St. John's Church as president was on the morning of his inauguration.
What do you think he was trying to accomplish in that moment on Monday night?
I am not going to wager a guess, but I know what it did not accomplish. It did not serve the spiritual aspirations or the needed moral leadership that we need. It served as an instrument of his own forceful presence in the nation, and it did not address the grievous wounds that we are dealing with and the agony of our country. And so it was an abuse of the spiritual tools and symbols of our tradition and of our sacred space. And that was what I was speaking to. And I cannot speak to his motives because he did not consult us. He did not warn us that he was coming across the street to the church.
In the midst of all that's happening right now in our country, in this city especially, what's the church's message right now? What do you want people to know?
Yes, I mean, we share in the grief and the outrage of life after life of African American and people of color in this country being subjected to violence and death, often at the hands of those who are meant to keep them safe. We long and we stand for those who are using their civic right for peaceful protest to strive for justice, and we seek the same. We long to be part of the renewal and the healing of our country. And we are praying. We are praying for peace. We are praying for justice. And we are working every day to help realize God's dream of loving kindness among all people of the earth.
Right, Reverend Marianne Buddy. Thank you so much, Bishop. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Coming up next hour, we're actually going to take you inside that church. We went inside St. John's to get a firsthand look from the Reverend there at the damage that was caused before the president's photo op yesterday. Hoda?
All right, Craig, thanks for that. Also this morning, hundreds of thousands of people all across the world are taking part in peaceful protests. They are marching in a show of solidarity with American demonstrators, justice for George Flyod. People are flooding the streets in New Zealand and Australia and England, Ireland, the Netherlands, cities in Africa, South America, the Middle East as well. They want Americans to know, they say, that they do not stand alone. All right, it is now 18 minutes past the hour. How about we get a first check of our weather from our good friend, Mr. Al Roker. Hey, Al.
Hey, Hoda, thanks so much. And we're looking at some severe weather today, later this afternoon, stretching from the Dakotas all the way into the upper Midwest. 16 million people at risk for these storms. And tomorrow, from South Dakota all the way to southern New Jersey and the Delmarva Peninsula, 45 million people at risk for damaging winds, tornadoes possible, hail and damaging winds. We are expecting rainfall amounts in some areas picking up to 1 inch per hour. And we are watching the tropics. Tropical depression 105 miles west of Campeche, 35 mile per hour winds. It's going to be moving slowly into the Gulf. We'll be talking about this on Sunday. Cristobal is, if it becomes a tropical storm, that will be the next name.
Moved. I'm right here on 34th Street. Guys, you may recognize this spot. Hoda, I know you will. This is where the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade ends every year. This is literally where Santa Claus comes to town. This is Macy's, 34th Street. And all along here are shops. This is usually where tourists would be in summertime. Sephora broken into. Right in here, you see the Foot Locker completely looted. Crews here already this morning trying to start the cleanup. As mentioned, New York City instituted for the first time a curfew that started at 11 o'clock last night. Because of what happened and because it did not seem to quell the violence, we are going to have a curfew of 8 o'clock tonight, and we'll see if that tamps down these tensions. But obviously, this is a scene that's being repeated all over the city. We're in Manhattan, in Brooklyn, other places, and around the country.
Yeah, here in D.C., there's going to be another curfew tonight as well, a 7 o'clock curfew. Those protesters that you mentioned, especially the protesters who've been destructive and violent, there are some serious questions this morning about who's behind those part of the protests. Questions from law enforcement, questions from the peaceful protesters themselves. We're going to dig into that this half hour.
All right, Craig and Savannah. Meantime, today in Minneapolis, a public memorial is planned for George Floyd. We're also seeing 2 new autopsies in the case, and they differ on the details of exactly what happened 8 days ago. Just ahead, we'll have a live interview with the Floyd family attorney. But first, NBC's Gabe Gutierrez joins us now from Minneapolis. Hey, Gabe, good morning.
Hoda, good morning. As this makeshift memorial continues to grow, the county medical examiner has ruled officially that George Floyd's manner of death was homicide, but that there were some underlying health conditions. Private medical examiners hired by the family found some conflicting results. In Minneapolis, the 7th night of protest was peaceful. But this morning, separate autopsies are at odds over George Floyd's cause of death. The Hennepin County Medical Examiner has released its initial findings, ruling Floyd's death a homicide as a result of a heart attack during police restraint. But the autopsy lists heart disease, fentanyl intoxication, and recent methamphetamine use as significant underlying conditions in his death. And the previous criminal complaint, citing preliminary findings, said the county medical examiner revealed no physical findings that support a diagnosis of traumatic asphyxia or strangulation. But private doctors hired by the Floyd family conducted another autopsy and say officers cut off blood and airflow to Floyd's brain.
He couldn't breathe, asphyxia due to compression of the neck and of the back, and that's homicidal. The autopsy shows that Mr. Floyd had no underlying medical problem that caused or contributed to his death.
Former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin has been charged with third-degree murder and manslaughter after kneeling on Floyd's neck for close to 9 minutes.
What are y'all doing?
Earlier Monday, an emotional plea from Terrence Floyd, visiting the site of his brother's last breath, his first time there.
If I'm not over here messing up my community, then what are y'all doing? In every case of police brutality,
the same thing has been happening. Y'all protest, y'all destroy stuff, and if they don't move, you know why they don't move? Because it's not their stuff, it's our stuff. So they want us to destroy our stuff. Come on, dog. They're not gonna move. So let's do this another way.
A call for peaceful protest to honor his brother.
What's his name? George Flyod. What's his name? George Flyod.
At the root of the outrage, pain, young and old, sharing their anguish.
What is it about his death specifically that brought up all this frustration over the years?
I mean, that scream for his mom, that was terrible. That was like my child screaming out, "Mom."
Why did you think you wanted to lay flowers down there?
Because I wanted to pay respects to George Floyd because he didn't deserve to die.
A public memorial is now scheduled here in Minneapolis on Thursday. Others later in North Carolina, where Floyd was born, and Houston, where he grew up. Hoda.
All right, Gabe Gutierrez. Gabe, thank you. We're joined now by Ben Crump, the attorney for George Floyd's family. Mr. Crump, good morning. Let's talk about these two autopsies for a second. First, let's talk about what they both agree on, that this was, in fact, a homicide. Now, the independent autopsy says the cause of death was asphyxia. The county autopsy says it was heart failure. So tell me, how important is that discrepancy to you when it comes to trial?
It's critical, Huda, when you look at the fact that what we saw in that video, the medical examiner for the county is trying to marginalize it as if it's not that important. But Dr. Biden and Dr. Wilson, who did the autopsy for the families, concluded that the cause of death was mechanical asphyxia caused by the knee to the neck for 9 minutes almost, and then the 2 knees to the back, compressing his lungs so they couldn't contract, and air and blood could not flow to the brain. That is critical because that then concludes the definition
This is they doing.
Of what happened to
This
George
is what they
Floyd.
wanted.
It's homicide.
Look at
because
them.
he was
They did this.
for
Them allowing the bad cops to continue to kill. They did this. These officers right here, they stood by while the other officer killed a man, and they continue to do it. They did this. Remember their faces, America. These are the ones who did this. They burnt the city down. They helped. Y'all stood by and did nothing. Y'all don't stand up for us, we gonna stand up for us. Y'all don't give a fuck about us, we gonna give a fuck about us. Look at them. They don't give no fucks about us, bro. They stand with a motherfucking murderer. Look at them. No sympathy. They stand with a murderer. Now, America, stand with us. America, stand with us. They got their gas. Now, America, stand with us, bro. Where y'all at? Everybody want to say something. Everybody want to comment. Everybody want to talk shit. Where y'all at, bro? Stand with us. They got their partners. They got their people standing with them. Now, y'all come stand with us. This bitch gone. Motherfuckers losing their homes. I'm sad that the motherfucker had to lose their home right here. Someone stayed in this building. But guess what, yo? Without change, there's no order. Without change, there's no order. This is another thing I wanted to show America. Look, America, I want to show y'all this. I want y'all to look around and center point energy. Look around center point energy. Yeah, flag them down. Hey, I'll flag my people down too. Hey, I need help. I need help. Fuck you talking about? Look, y'all. Look around. Ain't no black face out here. They don't hire black people in Minnesota. They don't fuck with us. Look. Look. Man, no, I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you. It's 10 of y'all. Y'all got one down there. I want to hear that shit. Fuck out of here, ma. Fuck you talking about? Look. Look. They coming to get me because I'm trying to let the world see what's going on. They don't want me to broadcast, y'all. They don't want me to show y'all what's going on. Look. What's up? Hands up. Don't shoot. Don't choke me out neither, please. Please don't put your knee on me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. 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 They did this. Yeah. They did this. A cop, not a bad cop. But if you're a good cop and you stand by and let the bad cop do bad, you a bad cop. Ain't no change. You ain't got to be bad, bro. Standing by and allowing injustice makes you bad. That don't make you an officer. That don't have you don't where your oath, bruh. Hold something, nigga. Hold your integrity. Look at him. He don't care. He's smirking, y'all. He don't care. No integrity. No integrity for the people. None. Fuck out of here, man. They don't care, bro. He over there smirking like this shit a game. This ain't a game. This our lives. We dying, nigga. We dying. While you get up and go to work and punch a clock, we die. Every time you punch a clock, someone like me, them, they die. That's not how it works, bro. That's not how it works. Fuck out of here, man. That's not how it works, man. They tell them, bro, because they don't know, bro.
They don't fucking know. Hey, Minnesota is the Mississippi of the North. And this shit been going on since...
Nah, niggas, we the new capital. We the new capital for change. You hear me? We the new capital for change. We gonna change. Let's change this bitch city by city, block by block, neighborhood by neighborhood. Bring it out, baby. Bring it out. For everybody else, bro, I appreciate it. If y'all out in the city and y'all still looting, I appreciate it if y'all stop. Point been proven, point been made. Okay? Look, point proven, point made. We don't need to riot no more. We don't need to riot no more. Let's get back out here on the protest, y'all. Hands up. Hands up. It's over with, y'all. Point been proven. Now if they shoot again and they tear gas us again, we do it all over. Make them respect us, bro. But at the same time, show some respect your damn self. For real. And I'm just being 100. I'm just keeping it 100. Feel me? I'm just keeping it 100, bro. Enough is enough. We done proved our point. Now let's go back to protest. They shoot us again. They do that shit again. Go back to the destruction because I don't get it. See, this is what I don't like right here. I specifically like the fact that they bust the windows out. It's okay, and it's not okay, man, because the library shouldn't have been touched. The library shouldn't have been fucking touched. If anything was safe, black businesses and libraries should have been safe. But they didn't go in there. They did shatter some windows, but black businesses, minority-owned businesses, and libraries are safe. This is for our kids. These libraries for our kids. These Targets, these stores, they not for us. Leave the libraries alone, bro. What the fuck is y'all doing? What's up, man? Look, man, I just want to show y'all this shit, bro. This the aftermath. Motherfuckers out here all night last night trying to show y'all the destruction. Fuck the destruction. This is the aftermath, bro. This is what's left of a thriving community. This is what's left of a community that was doing great. Now it's over with. For what? Why, y'all? Because we wanted to protest with our hands up and get shot with bullets and mace? Why, y'all? Because we wanted to be citizens that fight for our rights? We had to, look, this shit ain't right, bro. Motherfuckers should have never had to do this, bro. Never. They should have never had to do this, bro. Look at this shit, man. Look, man. Look, man. This used to be a restaurant. Point proven, y'all. Point proven. Let's get back out here and protest on some positive shit. Point proven, y'all. Let's bring it back to what we came out here for, y'all. Point proven. Look, yo. Look at AutoZone. Look, yo. They put a building in the community. They built a building in our community, right, of lower income. They put a building in our community of lower income, bro, where they charging $2,000 for a fucking studio. You hear me? Bro, motherfuckers are barely able to pay $800 for a motherfucker's one bedroom, right? They burnt that bitch down. No $2,000 studio over here, burnt that bitch down. It's gone. AutoZone, gone. Gone. Yeah, gone. Right back at it. We still out. Okay, they still out here. I just got back out here, like I say, bro. My phone got fucked up last night. My cousin was solid. Bro took himself offline so I can go online. He took his chip out. Let me put my chip in so I can get out here and go live, bro. I just want to show y'all people, man, the aftermath of this shit, bro. Everybody talking about why y'all ain't take it to the police station. It started here, bro. It started here. It started here. Y'all don't see the barricades they put up? Y'all don't see all that? It started here. Everybody talking about take it to the police, man. How about y'all bring it out here? How about y'all get out here? Where y'all at? It's crazy.
Yeah.
We got some too. I thought we was cool, bro. Are you serious, fam? That's the training they give you.
Supporting. What are you doing to support?
What are you doing to support him?
What are you doing to support?
Get the fuck out of here. You see? Look at it. You see him?
Yeah.
Look at him, y'all. Know this man. Wisconsin. Know this man. He don't know no better. He don't know. He know not what he do.
He doesn't know anything.
He know not what he do, y'all. He don't know no better. Yeah, I was getting shot at. I was getting maced. My face on fire, bro, all day. Nigga, I went home, changed clothes, and came right back. Nigga, fuck you talking about, hypocrite, bitch. Fuck out of here, man. Look at this.
Why we in Target?
Hey, yo, I had to get a new phone. Motherfuckers, I fucked my phone up last night. I had to get a new one. But I'm back live, yo. I'm still out here. I'm still out here.
So wings gone?
Everything gone, G. I'm still out here. Look at this shit, y'all. I'm still out here. I had to get a new phone, bro. My phone got fucked up last night, man. Them bitches hit me with a fucking a real life bullet in my hand. I dropped my phone, and yeah, it was kind of over with from that point on. I just got it. My cousin literally just gave me his phone this morning so I can put my chip in it.
in sufficient numbers that we dominate the streets.
Donald Trump ratchets up the rhetoric over protests. He gave a speech at the White House. His comments came after police fired tear gas at a peaceful protest not too far away. Trump later walked to a nearby church where he held up a Bible in a photo It has been a very tense few days in New York City with the protests. with the violence and with the looting that has erupted in response to the police-involved death of George Floyd in Minnesota. Many New Yorkers have been peaceful. It has been a very tense few days in New York City with the protests, with the violence, and
he gets shot up 9 times. Does that make sense? No.
I'm here because the injustice that was done to George Floyd should not happen to anyone ever again.
We're getting blamed for being rowdy and being thugs, but we're just in pain and we're hurting. And that's the biggest thing.
And a lot of that pain and hurt, the idea behind these protests and what draws people out is to make change happen. And Errol Lewis wrote about this in his column today because he says that message and that agenda can be overshadowed by a lot of what we're seeing in terms of the looting. He says a portion of the blame for this week's street chaos and subsequent government crackdown must be laid at the doorstep of activists who unwisely call people into the streets without ensuring that the effort would further an agenda, put pressure on a specific target, or advance irrelevant winnable demands, which is crucial really for any protest to lead to change, as Errol points out.
Let me read another line from Errol, Annika, because he talked about Martin Luther King and the members of King's inner circle, and said they would talk for endless hours, strategizing over how to craft and deliver a message, combining moral values and plausible demands that a specific official or political body could deliver or negotiate. So that's some of what we're trying to discuss on the program today is, okay, we've established the outrage. We have established that there is widespread support for change. There's a limited amount of tolerance remaining for these errors and misjudgments and abuses by police officers. But what do we do next? What's the fix? What's the ask? And with the protest movement being as organic as it has been, just people gathering in the streets, somebody saying on social media, here's where we're meeting, at some point there needs to be a more specific ask of our elected officials. What has to change specifically?
And the Black Lives Matter movement does have a specific agenda now. I think they were fractured for years at the start, and that's something that we want to get to. What are those specifics in terms of laws, legislation that they're proposing, educational changes? There's so much that needs to be done. But this is also, this is part of what you see in the frustration of the marchers. These issues have just gone on, it seems like, indefinitely. They're still outstanding. They still don't get solved. So we want to try to see how they hope to sort of channel some of the energy and the sadness that we see out on the streets into actual effective change.
We want to know what you think. Use the hashtag #OneNewYork. We're going to take a quick break. We will be right back with the Tuesday edition of the show.
I'm fourth-generation Queens. These streets are a part of my DNA. I'm Chloe McGowan. This is my Queens.
In a city as
process, particularly in the Bronx, because politicians in our city have continuously let us down, some of whom we endorsed have not answered the call when we started talking about Black Lives Matter. We decided to run our co-founder, Ivana Newsom, who is my sister, for Congress in the Bronx. When we start talking about fair housing for all, this is a need for all Black people. We start talking about reparations. This is a need for all Black people. Governor Cuomo should start looking at our school and say, hey, we should start teaching young Black people financial literacy, encourage entrepreneurship. I believe in guaranteed jobs for our people. And now that we're on the precipice of the fourth industrial revolution, this robot revolution, Black people should be taught trade, because you have to understand this country grows twice as fast for Black. I'm sorry, twice as fast for white.
They're spraying tear gas or something right now.
Everyone else's development accelerated, while ours is steadily moves forward. If New York really wanted to help Black people, they would cancel rent. But for the most part, I don't think the Black community needs handouts. I think the Black community needs the opportunity to build and gain equity. We don't teach equality, teach equity and access. So put us in a position to do for ourselves. Get out of our way. Stop allowing your police to kill us. Stop allowing our schools to fail. In no other community in America will you see people who don't look like community leading the school. It's problematic. You have white men who come into our community who don't understand our community, who command precincts with hundreds of people with weapons and badges. This has to stop. We have to take control of our community, and our allies have to understand why Black people need to control this.
Wells Fargo, all the windows smashed out.
You touched on a couple of these things, education and economic injustice.
They're looting
to use an umbrella
Foot Locker
term
right now.
for that. If those underlying factors
Look
like
at this.
education,
They're looting Foot Locker.
Person ain't to me. There's a lot of people back there. There's a lot of
These people are crazy. This is protesting, huh?
There's something over here.
$5 below, huh? I got $5 worth of stuff.
Store's probably been closed for a few months, you know?
Oh my lord. There's like shit ton of... Really? That's fucking crazy.
You just gotta do it again. By me.
It is fucking ridiculous. I mean, people really wanted $5 below, like $5 candy. Models. Just in case you were wondering, this is what a protest looks like. Sad day.
Yeah, we can't go on nobody's stand in front of our store. If you decide to fly by the spot, it's not directly in front of our store.
I gotcha. children's place. They're spraying tear gas or something right now.
Dogs when people would have been really hurt, end of quote. They weren't the words of a president. They were the kind of words Bull Connor would have used unleashing his dogs on innocent women and children. You know, the American story is a story about action and reaction. That's how history works. We can't be naive about it. I wish I could say that hate began with Donald Trump and will end with him. It didn't, and it won't. American history isn't a fairy tale with a guaranteed happy ending. The battle for the soul of this nation has been a constant push and pull for more than 240 years. A tug of war between the American ideal that we're all created equal and the harsh reality that racism has long torn us apart. The honest truth is that both elements are part of the American character. Both elements. At our best, the American ideal wins out. But it's never a rout. It's always a fight, and the battle is never fully won. But we can't ignore the truth that we're at our best when we open our hearts rather than clench our fists. Donald Trump has turned this country into a battlefield riven by old resentments and fresh fears. He thinks division helps him. His narcissism has become more important than the nation's well-being that he leads. I ask every American, I mean this from the bottom of my heart, I ask every American, look at where we are now and think anew. Is this who we are? Is this who we want to be? Is this what we want to pass on to our children and our grandchildren? Fear, anger, finger-pointing, rather than the pursuit of happiness? Incompetence and anxiety? Self-absorption, selfishness? Or do we want to be the America we know we can be? The America we know in our hearts we could be and should be. Look, I look at the presidency as a very big job, and nobody will get it right every time. And I won't either. But I promise you this, I won't traffic in fear and division. I won't fan the flames of hate. I'll seek to heal the racial wounds that have long plagued our country, not use them for political gain. I'll do my job and I will take responsibility. I won't blame others. I'll never forget. I will never forget. I promise you, this job is not about me. It's about you. It's about us. It'll work not only to rebuild the nation, but to build it better than it was. We're the only nation in the world that goes through crisis and comes out better. To build a better future. That's what America does, to build a better future. We build the future. It may, in fact, be the most American thing to do, build the future. We hunger for liberty the way Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass did. We thirst for the vote like Susan B. Anthony and Ella Baker and John Lewis did. We strive to explore the stars, cure disease, make an imperfect union more perfect than it's been. We may come up short, but at our best, we try. My fellow Americans, we're facing a formidable enemies. They include not only the coronavirus and the terrible impact on the lives and livelihoods, but also the selfishness and fear that have loomed over our national life for the last 3 years. And I choose those words advisedly, selfishness and fear. Defeating those enemies requires us to do our duty, and that duty includes remembering who we should be. Who we should be. We should be the America of FDR and Eisenhower, of Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King Jr., of Jonas Salk and Neil Armstrong. We should be the America that cherishes life, liberty, and courage. And above all, we should be the America that cherishes each other, each and every one of us. You know, we're a nation in pain. We must not let our pain destroy us. We're a nation enraged, but we cannot let our rage consume us. We're a nation that's exhausted, but we will not allow our exhaustion to defeat us. As president, it's my commitment to all of you to lead on these issues and to listen, because I truly believe in my heart of hearts we can overcome. When we stand together, finally as one America, we'll rise stronger than we were before. We'll move that arc closer to justice. We'll reach out to one another. So speak out for one another. And please, please, do what's recently been happening. Take care of one another. This is the United States of America. There's never been anything we've been unable to do when we set our mind to do it, and we've done it together. Together, united. That's who we are at our best. May God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you.
I can't breathe.
I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. George Floyd. 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 Don't shoot. 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 Black lives matter. 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 George Floyd! George Floyd! I can't breathe! 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 Don't shoot! 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 George Floyd! 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 Black lives matter! 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 Black lives matter!
Just hide.
I can't breathe!
That's it right there.
I can't breathe!
This is the corner. Okay. All the homicide
I
trials.
can't breathe!
That's it.
I can't breathe!
It's the jail. You don't want to be in front of that.
I can't breathe!
Right here.
I can't breathe! I can't breathe! I can't breathe! Don't shoot! 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 George Floyd! 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 Black lives matter! 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 I can't breathe! 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 George Floyd! 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 Don't shoot! 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 Don't shoot!
I want a moment of silence. I need a moment of silence. I need my town councilman, Carrington. I need you guys to come over and take a knee with me on camera. Sergeants, please, all my sergeants, ranking, town councilmen. Is this the camera right here? Here we go. Bill Harmer. Trina, do you want to organize this and let us say something?
I have a lot to say. First, I want to say thank you to everybody.
No, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
I want to thank everybody for being here today. This march is for us to be heard and seen. And to lead by example, for it to be effective, we must remain focused and safe. To be taken seriously, we must remain peaceful. Wrong and right. As a group, we are here to address what's wrong and right. Change stems from within, which is why even communities that have not experienced police brutality are coming together to stand against it and educate our children of the future. We must hold our peers accountable if we expect to see a difference. That is why we are standing here for what is right. Understanding color, we are not a whole community without our black community. Their oppression and injustice should outrage us, all of us. Martin Luther King did not only fight for blacks, he fought for everyone. Unity, equality. Stand with me and let's continue his dream to truly become our reality for the future of our children. I am proud to be able to use my platform to bring attention to a problem that has been going on too long for many generations. Feels good? No,
Yeah.
not really. To keep having to speak on social injustices and systematic racism against black lives should be an embarrassment to the human race. These problems are not created by the black community, yet have to face every day with the ignorance of those uneducated. God made woman from the rib of a man to be equal, no one higher than another. So why let color and justify it? This is not about black or white. It's about everyone versus racism. And the fight for civil rights applies to everyone. Standing in solidarity should not be controversial. It is crucial for the future generations. Having to hear George Floyd cry for his deceased mother struck me to stand here today. I thought of my children crying for me. How will I be able to help them? Better equipping them with the knowledge of our history and fights we fought for centuries. How their voices can continue to change. We are starting here today, not for it to end when we go home, yet for us to prepare our journey for change. The youth is our future, born to love and accept everywhere. We cannot corrupt their minds of what's injustice. When I think of the Black Lives Matter movement, I think of equality, love, and peace. I want to educate and remind you one last time, for all lives to matter, Black lives must matter. Amen.
Before we do that, I just want to take a moment of silence. I want to show unity with our police force as they take a knee with us. All right? So I'm asking everyone take a knee and we have a moment of silence for George Floyd.
Almighty God, we have gathered today and we have heard powerfully from Katrina, one who has spoken up, who has taken a place of leadership in this community by bringing us together. Lord, your word teaches us that if part of the body hurts, the whole body hurts. Let us feel the pain that the Black community has at this moment, and let us bring healing not only for the Black community, but for the entire community, that we will no longer look at people as inferior or think that we are superior, but rather that we are equal. We are children of God, created in your divine image and made for a redemptive and holy purpose. Each life here does matter. Lord God, your word says, teach us to number our days, that we may apply our hearts unto wisdom. With that, we know not how many days we have left on this earth. So let us make each day count by showing kindness first in our homes, to our loved ones, and to those around us, so that ultimately there will be kindness and love throughout this community. Lord God, as we dismiss from this place, go with us in spirit. Let us continue the good work that we have started here today, by continuing each and every day to show the loving kindness that you have so desired for all your people. This we pray in your holy and perfect name. And the people of God said, Amen. Amen.
Say his name!
George Floyd!
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 Say his name!
George Floyd! George Floyd!
Say his name!
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 George Floyd!
Black lives matter!
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 Again, we appreciate everyone coming out. We appreciate everyone showing support. Black, white, Latino, Italian, Asian. All lives matter. All lives matter. All lives matter. Less bullets, more life. Remember that.
Less
all
bullets,
free.
more life. Less bullets,
More life!
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 Say his name!
George Floyd!
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 Black lives matter!
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 Say his name!
George Floyd!
Say his name!
That's my What's your last name? Ladies and gentlemen, a few of you had inquired about being able to walk down here and walk all the way back. Lewis County Sheriff's Department in cooperation with the Lewis County Prosecutor's Office, Townsville Police Department, and Corrections. We all thank you for coming out today, number one. Number two, we have some buses from Motion Ride coming back. Oh, wow. So if you want to walk, you may walk. If you would like a ride in a bus, you can have a ride in a bus. Just gotta wait for a little bit for the bus to get here. Right?
Thank you. Thank you.
George, you got a coin slot.
All right.
I love it. I've had it for years. It really done me justice. Yeah, and then this is a little battery pack. My phone holds 2 batteries that last longer, and then it's easier. Oh yeah, over there. Yeah, you can take as well. For having everything here, and I like shooting portraits better than I do.
Peaceful protest.
That's all right. You got sandals on, stay away. I wasn't doing that. Hey, guy. Can I get one of these? Can I get one of these? Can I get the door
Thank you guys. Thank you. Thank you guys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You too. Thank you.
Right here.
So we're bringing you update from the library. Capital, you have to be with us. We are now moving.
Senator, the camera is behind you. And all right. The Latin, the Liberian people that you were on the ground, but we want to know, did you attend the meeting?
sign that communication because we're trying to put our rules, the local rules, 23. And then those rules are telling you that they're telling you how to file a complaint against a senator. So as far as we are concerned, there has been no complaint filed against a senator.
need to give a fuck, bro. Fuck you mean you don't give a fuck. You need to give a fuck. See, you brought the crowd right here. That's how we doing, man. Some niggas coming out. Yo, jump shit.
outside now! Get in the house!
Get in, get in, get in, get in, get in, get in. Get in.
I'm trained in first aid. I haven't done it in a while, and I was helping a man who got shot in the leg with a rubber bullet. He was bleeding so much.
You saw this?
I was helping him. I was cutting his